Vancouver Island is one of the wettest places in North America. Millions of liters of rain flow through its lush forests. But where does all this storm water go? Not always where you would expect. I'm going deep underground to follow the flow and hopefully resurface.
If somebody has a mental breakdown in there, it's a rescue nightmare. Oh my God, what the?
All over Vancouver Island, there are hundreds of underground cave systems. Some well known, some unexplored, and some still undiscovered. Many of these caves are formed by millions of years of rushing stormwater, patiently dissolving out these chambers. I was invited by a group of hardcore cavers to join them on an exploration to follow this flow of water underground, as far as humanly possible.
This is the guy that emailed me and said, hey, let's go play in caves.
Tony Morley is our caving guide for this expedition.
Okay, big case coming up?
Yep, I'll take that. A lot of our deepest caves and a lot of our most exciting caves never saw people until just after the landing on the moon. So we know very little about the deepest reaches of our planet. New discoveries, new crystal formations, and some of the biggest chambers in the world are just coming to light in this few years.
The rest of the crew is also anxious to take on the challenges that lay ahead.
My title is mechanic.
Mechanic, bon vivant, girl about town.
Girl about town.
Like a true Quebecer that I am, I'll give you my full name.
Uh-oh.
My name is Charles Joseph Wilfried René Ouellet Pelletier.
Whoa, hold on.
Rock climber and archaeologist.
Excellent. So we got a bona fide archaeologist with us.
Yes, we do.
I am Alistair, ready to take on the muddy parts of North Vancouver Island. Where's this come from, George?
I think it might have fallen out of your truck.
Today, Tony is taking me to Rat's Nest Cave, high in the Albertan Rockies, to give me my first taste of extreme cave exploration.
Okay, so we'll just grab all the kit out of the truck and then talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing today for the rest of the day anyways. Just before we head up, we're going to talk real quick about what we're going to expect and what we're going to need from you guys on the way up. Once we get up to the Rat's Nest, we want to keep everyone close together unless I get you guys to split up and to go into different ways or different chambers. Ever you're stuck, don't get too freaked out. Just look to the person in front of you or behind you to give you a push or a pull.
This intricate series of underground chambers provides some of the most challenging, high-altitude caving in the world.
We really use it as a off-road training ground for the human body to hone our underground skills and to test our rigging systems before we take it into a more uncontrolled environment like the wilds of Vancouver Island.
Okay, so we're not talking like we got a lot of space here. It's a bit tight here in the cave. So this is just the warm-up, the appetizer, if you will. I understand there's a thing called the psych squeeze, which is apparently, if you can go through this, you can go through just about anything.
Unhooked.
Every movement must be carefully planned out in these extremely tight and dangerous spaces. Whoa! Oh! Careful. It's a good thing you got the old skull bucket on.
Okay, that little thing holds you, that strap,
Yeah, that strap is good for 22 kilonewtons or around 11,000 pounds. So you could comfortably pick up your family Land Rover or minivan. Roll! Sounds good.
Okay.
Looks good.
Okay, I'm happy. Time to go down. On rope! Okay. Wow, what a great view. You can look straight down and see into the bowels of the earth. Watch your head, or you'll end up dead. This is a nice cave. Nice cave. Good. Okay, off rope!
Bomb down to the bottom of this big chamber here. Psych squeeze right after the 5-way chamber.
Psych squeeze.
60 feet of the tightest possible passage.
Whoa! This is what absolute pitch black looks like. Not a single photon can get down here. There's no place on the surface of the earth that is as dark as underground. And right now, I can't see anything. My hand is right in front of my face and I cannot see it. Where are you? That sounds like Tony. There he is. Oh, thank you. Ah, you prankster. Oh. That's it.
Well, now I know I'm not afraid of the dark. But how about extreme claustrophobia?
It's not gonna be comfortable.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm deep in a cave under the Rocky Mountains, and I'm about to do something I should probably think twice about.
So this is the notorious psych squeeze.
Yeah, this is the really roomy entrance to what amounts to be an extremely claustrophobic experience towards the bottom, where you'll begin your 70-foot horizontal journey crawling through little more than the walls of the inside space of a microwave.
I have to crawl for what seems like forever through this insanely small passage.
It's like the ultimate test of claustrophobia. There are many places in this world where you do not want to get stuck, and this is one of them. Oh, that's tight. Made it through the psych squeeze.
Yeah, congratulations, I'm really impressed.
That was awesome. It was, well, obviously it was tight, but man, there's a few spots there. If you were claustrophobic, you would freak
And that's why we really don't put anyone down there unless we really know they're going to be okay, because if somebody has a mental breakdown in there, it's a rescue nightmare.
Oh yeah, you'd have so much trouble trying to rescue someone in there. It's insane.
Yeah, and that's why we limit the number of people we can get down there, and you know, congratulations, you passed the test. You can do pretty much any cave thing there is to do.
Bring it on.
So it's off to Vancouver Island, to some of the wettest and most remote caves in the world.
All right, so right now we're headed up to Port McNeill, which is going to be our base camp for the rest of the week. We're going to go on a lot of logging roads, some backcountry areas.
It is quite a navigational challenge. Nothing's easy to find, and it's difficult and remote.
So just to make things that much more difficult, a lot of these caves out here have a lot of very fast rushing water.
None of the caves we're going to see are going to be a quiet, dry sort of places. They're cold, they're wet, they're turbulent, and like you said, there's going to be a great deal of either very, very deep water or quick moving currents.
Here's where I'm going to go with the flow and follow all this water deep under the surface of the earth.
The appropriately named Vanishing River is an excellent example of surface water disappearing into an underground cavern. The water flows along this river valley and then disappears, vanishing completely somewhere into the belly of the earth.
This is the Eternal Fountain, the source of water for a spectacular underground river system. I'm going to explore this incredible piece of nature, but first, I have to gear up. It's so cold and wet down there, if you're not totally prepared, you're dead. The water just thunders through the passageways, and the roar just adds to the claustrophobic feeling of this space. But my greatest concern right now is, will my protective gear keep me from freezing to death?
The most dangerous part of being in a wet cave like this is hypothermia. The water will suck the heat right out of your body, and if your core temperature drops too far, you're dead. It's going to take forever for a rescue team to find you and come and take you to a hospital.
In spite of the harsh conditions, we press on. I want to find out where this huge flow of water goes. It seems endless, and then, finally,
Hey, this is the end of the line. Yeah, so it ends up being a passageway. It's not really a passageway, but it opens up to like another room like this, but there's no exit other than along the river. So if you got a boat, it would keep going, so we don't have one right now.
but where there's a will, there's a way. I'm exploring underground rivers and lakes in the caves of British Columbia, and I'm trying to reach the most inaccessible parts of the system. And there's only one way to do that. The inflatable kayaks are perfect for the job. They're strong, but lightweight. Relatively lightweight.
There is water around here somewhere.
It's just up and over this hill and then down a very steep hill.
Today, we go into the cave, Devil's Bath Cave. Inside here is an underground lake, and we're not sure exactly how big this lake is. That's the mission today, to find that out.
The advantage of these boats is you can deflate them to squeeze into small spaces. Then, a quick reinflate, and you can start paddling.
Devil's Bath is more than just an underground lake. It's a subterranean waterway system with channels, passages, sinkholes, and a few places where you have to watch your head.
Oh, look at this passage here.
Tony and I follow the water flow to what appears to be a dead end. It is scary swimming under these rock shelves, but it's the only way to find out what's on the other side.
It opens up into a large sinkhole, and it's basically perfectly round and it drops very deep, but that's pretty much the end. Take water.
So we hit the road in search of more watery caves, but we're quickly reminded of how treacherous backcountry driving can be.
Let me get out. Little complication. Really, it's not as bad as it looks. Okay, maybe it's as bad as it looks. A lot more.
Alistair's Land Rover is well and truly stuck in the ditch, and the only thing that's going to get it out is brute force.
Okay, now. Yeah! Come on! We're almost there! Whoa, we're sliding!
Come on, be a man about it. Put the pedal to the metal.
Let's go! Round two! Round two!
This thing is really wedged in there, but a team effort finally yanks it free.
That's how you do it! Just another day at the office.
Now the search is back on for what will prove to be the most dangerous cave so far.
Oh my god, what the?
We've been searching for hours for a hidden cave in a remote area of Vancouver Island.
So to give you an idea of what it's like at the location of some of these caves, it's not like they're publicized with signs and that kind of stuff. This is an old discontinued logging road. And basically, you gotta find these little trails like this one. This particular cave, Minnie Gill, even with some local information and about 3 hours worth of searching, we finally found it.
But it's a massive 40-meter rappel, so we're gonna need all our gear and all our skills to get us in and out safely.
Rope! All right, here we go.
It's hard to believe that this massive chamber may have started life as a trickle of water thousands of years ago.
That was an awesome wrap. Fantastic.
Once again, I follow an icy cold underground river.
It sort of looks like the gnarliest passage ever.
But it's becoming clear that no matter how hard I try, there are parts of this cave that I just can't squeeze into.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. Yeah, this is definitely the water entrance for this cave system. If I had more gear, I'd try to get further in, but this is the spot where it's coming all in.
As Tony, Charles, and I traveled deeper into the cave, we discovered geological effects of the water flows over time.
These formations here is called moon milk. It's layers of calcium carbonate that have built up all over the side of this cave. It's fantastic, it's everywhere. These delicate features here are called soda straws, and each one is formed by mineral-rich water dripping from these points. And it takes years and years for each one of these to accumulate. Really awesome, so fantastic. The things that you find underground just blow me away. You'll never see this above the Earth's surface.
The cave walls and the water from above have combined to form incredible natural artwork everywhere.
This little pool here is absolutely fantastic. What's happened is the mineral-rich water in here has drained and evaporated, leaving some of the mineral deposits behind, and they've crystallized.
Each one is like a tiny little feather.
Now it's time for the difficult task of jugging back to the surface. Tony takes the lead, but about halfway up, he's run into trouble. His many layers of clothing have caused him to overheat from the intense physical strain of climbing this rope. Now exhausted, his arms and legs are failing. But Tony has to dig deep. Falling off this rope is not an option.
1, 2, 3, pull!
Jugging up, I was just so hot. Just boiling hot, and it sucks every last bit of energy after you've been a mile that way and a quarter mile that way. George is out of his dry suit. I mean, he would die if he was in his dry suit.
Now it's my turn, and the surface team warns me of Tony's problem, so I'm stripped down and ready for my ascent. It's a brutal climb, but I make it up.
That's a haul. Off rope.
It is truly amazing to me that an entire underground world can be created by something as simple as rainwater. Forces we often take for granted can affect profound changes on our planet.
Action, George? That is me, yes, Action George.
I've got no clean spot on me whatsoever.
Well, we made it. We're gone.
I'm trying to teach him to not talk with his mouth full, but it's impossible.
Oh no.